Okay, I'm back. Let me see. Okay, guys, alpha. Good. Now let's start. Okay. So here is 3D Max. Very simple. Come here. References. Okay. You can just come import and good. Now let's start. Okay. Okay. So here is 3D Max. Very simple. Come here. References. Okay. And good. Okay. Okay, now sorry, I think I was hearing myself again on my own headset. That's why I'm doing like that. So let's start again. So for the SketchUp, let me quickly start with that. It's very simple. Import, then just click on import, and I was sent a SketchUp file. So I think this is it. You can see I selected all this and this. So give me some minutes, let it just load. Basically, the reason I prefer Revit over SketchUp, I've told you before, is because number one is for building information modeling. So when you are designing, you can at the same time be modeling. So it helps your design, intelligent design, and all those things. And SketchUp is good as well for what it is good for. And again, the interoperability between Revit and 3D Max makes me prefer 3D Max to Revit to any other software. So because I don't have to go through a lot of stress to bring it in, and also I don't have to stress myself too much. And the same thing goes with AutoCAD, and you can see this is your SketchUp file. And as good as it is, which I like, the challenge here is that maybe because I don't use SketchUp anyway, so if I see anybody that uses SketchUp and can explain more to me about the question that I think Timothy asked, so I'm going to actually learn from the person and get back as well. These are various materials on these ones. but yet I'm going to come here, change this material. It's a double-sided material, so let me change it to just a normal very material. You can see that it changed, and if I set it to like color blue, and that's the color, set it to like, so that you'll see it well. So now, as I've done that, the problem is, if I have a thing or two to do inside SketchUp to correct some things here and now bring it back, I've tried everything I could, but it's not working. So one of the things that I can do is to come here, references, no, sorry, import, and okay, let me see, references, manage links. Is there anything like link? There's no link, so I cannot use manage link. So because I imported it, and there's nothing like, if I want to link now, let me try and link if SketchUp can be linked. But normally this is what I want to do for objects that are not native files. So I'll come to replace, inside import I'll click on replace, and now I can come to and just click here, all files, and click this. But the challenge is it will override the material. So as I was thinking about it, a thought actually came to my mind concerning it. It's easier to convert a SketchUp file to AutoCAD. So if you convert it to AutoCAD, then you can now link the AutoCAD into 3D Max. And it's because I don't have SketchUp on my system. I will have tried that, and if I try that, since you are linking AutoCAD into 3D Max, so you can reload AutoCAD, and when you reload it, it should give you option of whether it should retain the material like it always do on Revit or not. And with that, I think you are good to go. You can see now it replaced everything, but replace the, oh, it did not replace the material. Wow, I didn't notice that. So your material is there. So everything I've been saying, forget about it. Your material is there. Oh, let's try and do another one. So always use replace. I know this should be a glass, and it's double-sided. I'm going to convert it to just one. It's like it's having, let me see, okay. Oh, what happened is it's actually having double. You can see that's the problem. So definitely all these things are doubled. Oh, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, what I think I'll have to do doesn't make sense. So it's not replacing anything. It does not make any sense. So I think what I'm trying to tell you before is what you will do then. Try and use AutoCAD. Convert the SketchUp to AutoCAD, but I'll keep on looking for a solution. I'll be asking some of my friends that use this SketchUp to see if they can help. But I've spent much time on this SketchUp of a thing, so let me just delete the old SketchUp, and now I'm back. So go to the layer in case you have some extra stuffs but I don't think so. I don't think I have any. Okay, for the revit file, let's go. In case you may need to reset. Don't save. Yeah, reset everything. So in case you open and you're having the material editor like this, so come here and come to custom UI and default switcher. So make it max.vray set. So now these changes will take place the next time I open my 3ds Max. So I'm going to close it. I'm not saving anything. Open it again. You know, we don't need to actually do all the big renders. You get it? Since what this stream is all about is all those little tricks that I use. So don't worry, the time will not be too much for us, and it's always easy on 3D Max anyway. So oh nice. Can I know can I see you saying I, so that I will know how many of you the name of the people that are actually online? You can see that I'm seeing 3 now. So let me just see your hi. So now if you come back to material now, it's actually giving you this slate material, which is actually becoming fantastic for me. I've started, you know, it's late. I should be ashamed of myself for saying that, but really node is a node base. And how does it work? You right click now, you want to use the material, you pick vary material, vary MTL. It's still equivalent to come to here. You can see these are vary material. Now come and pick under vary, pick vary material. It's still the same thing like that, but let's just continue to use this anyway because you are used to it. Then I can come here, change it to 2. I like to work with 2 viewports, and I come here, import, then I click link revit. So I also think, I don't know if you can export SketchUp files into FBX. You can always relink the FBX and it will retain your material for you. So if you can try that. I don't have SketchUp on my system, so I can't really talk much of that now. So group by date, here I am, click open. I hope you guys have seen what I'm doing. Please let me know if you are seeing it or not. So now I have this, and you know me, I don't always combine my Revit material. So do not combine is what I recommend. Then click attach. So it will load and ask you some questions. Now, like I told you that now, because we are in 3ds Max and it will want to take everything from your system, you can always right click, come in, let me just, all these, either yes or no, it doesn't matter. And we are here, so delete this sound and delete the compass, delete the camera. So we have this, press G on your keyboard to remove the grid from each of the viewports. If you press Z, you are zooming this views. So we are coming to that. So when you right click here on your task bar and you click task manager, so you are here. So you can click on the 3ds Max and right click on it and set affinity, so it will list all the processors. And you can see I have 8 now. So, and this is what 3ds Max is using. For the other software to function well, I'm going to disable 2 so that it's only using 6. And really that software as well, let me see, where is it? It's OBS set affinity as well, you can see. So I can I'm giving it just that 2 so that none of them will be fighting against each other. So that's how to manage your good. I can see you, Timothy. Thank you for staying up and believing in what I'm teaching. So now we are here. First thing first, pick the camera, and it will always ask you, because when you are coming, you know, bringing your revit file is always mandatory. So when you pick V-Ray camera, it will ask you to change to V-Ray, and I'm clicking yes. So but in case you don't understand that, it means that you are setting your render setting to V-Ray is on mandatory before. When you brought it in, this is what came before, and you can see what is happening. Mandatory is actually removing all the V-Ray. So I'm going to change back to V-Ray, and now you can see. So those are the differences. For my composition, depends on you. I've talked about it sometimes ago as well. So it depends on your understanding of what composition will be. I don't want to go too much into how I think your composition should be. So now let's see this. These are the common angles that you see in many works, and here you see this. And if I press F3 on my keyboard, and you can see this, and I think I really like it as well. I just need to perfect it. You know, that's the target that I selected. One of the things I need to do is to actually come to the render setup and set my output. For this, because of the way the building look, I think it would be better to have a square output frame. So I'm going to set it to custom and put, let's use 1200 pixels by 1200 pixels. So when you have done that, press Shift F so that it will show you the border, the frame. So now we have that. You know, there are some rule of thirds and all those things, but yet I'm not going to talk much about those things now. You can always find many articles that will talk about those ones. I just want to touch on things that I think are all about tips and tricks. So say this, select your camera. Over time, when you get used to working, you will discover that all these things, without setting some rules for yourself, you will know whether your framing or your composition is better or not. So enable this. What it does is Okay, let me just click the camera. You can see as this is now, if you select the camera, you come here and you under perspective control, you click enable. It will give you these straight lines, you know, for the edges, so that it will not look like it is slanting. And it's very, very important to have that. That's the way it gives the opinion that the building is not tilting and it does not want to fall. So now I pick this camera, and this is the height of the camera. I'm going to change it to like 1.2. Then I'm going to now the camera height depends on you. There's no rule. Normally, you know, let's say the height of like 1.8, between 1.5 and 1.8, but yet you can still lower your camera, depend on the frame that you want to get. So we are here. I think I need to come here a bit. So I think I need to change this to local and drag this. Okay, now, so to start the rendering, I'm going to set a preset for low render setup under V-Ray. So I'm going to use, I don't like using progressive, so I'm going to use bucket, set it to 4, leave this GI, set it to irradiance mapping, low or even very low, and 500. You can always save the presets to use later. You can see I have many presets, and this is the highest. This is what takes a lot of time to render, like 15 hours, 19 hours. All these other ones, they have what it takes. So if I have a job that I know there is no time, you get, so I just need to quickly put something fair out. So I use medium. Then there's a fair medium that this one, many times this one renders under 30 something minutes. Then, you know, it depends on computer as well. So my computer is a baby computer anyway. So, but yet if I put it on this, it will be far higher than this, maybe like 2 hours or so. Then if I put high, so it can be up to like 8 hours. Then the highest, this one, it goes between 12 hours to almost 20. I've even used it to render an image for I think more than 24 hours before. Depends on what I don't use this setting all the time. I don't use it, so I can save as test render, you get. So and when you are saving it, it will ask you to save all this, but I only pick this. So that's just it. And let's say you are just here and change this to 1.8. Okay, go back. So you can always come here and click on the render that you want to take. So all these ones are not found, so I've deleted those ones. So but just let's pick our test render again. It will ask you this and load. So that's just all about it. Now the major thing, in fact the major reason we are here today is because of some questions that was asked. 1, about flood generator. 2, about forest park. Then 3, about the cables. So I think we should quickly go through all those ones, since we know how to actually render in 3D Max before. But before I go, let me quickly set my lights. Now on the desktop I have this. When I was creating this image, I was juggling with a lot of ideas. I want to have the sunlight coming from behind, so illuminating some parts here, and all the other parts, like all these parts now that are in shadow, will be illuminated by the GI. But eventually this fence here is a little bit high, so when I draw my sun down and to almost the bottom level of the horizon, so it's not giving me that, and I was like, no, I can't be wasting time. So I tried to create something similar on this, and since I have this building here, and it actually brings me to a very, very important thing that I think many people always make a mistake of. For the fact that I have this building and this building here, now I'm still talking about framing now, does not mean that if I now want to render, I should render the whole building, except if this building is different from this. And even if it is, that still doesn't mean that I just carry my camera and now create a wide angle that will just distort everything. No, I just have to find a perfect balance. It doesn't take me much time to pick a camera, place it here, and pick another one, place it here that face this one. And especially now that I have identical buildings, this one and this one, they are the same, so I just have to snap this alone, and this one that I'm seeing here has already communicated what I want to communicate, so I don't need to be showing them, like placing my camera in the middle, then I'm now showing here, it doesn't make sense. You don't have to, just except if your client in particular request for that, and you have no option than to give him what he wants. And also there are some other ways that you can actually make those shots, and the best way, forget all the rule of third or whatever anybody has said, as good as those things are, the best way to know how to take a good shot is to start looking for best of images that you can find on the internet. When you see all those images, start looking at those images and start reasoning the way they were created. And believe me, when you see that, go back to your software, try to replicate what you see. Over time, just practice it. One will be better, one will not be better, until when you are able to master it. And that's just it. To start saying, I want to use rule of third, I want to use something, and at the end of the day it becomes boring, and a lot of people just be like, oh, I can't cope with this, and they just leave. Another thing is, when I'm creating, normally a normal person will not want to put this here, but why not? It can happen in real life, and in fact it's not blocking anything, it's not giving any obstruction, so I have to put it there, and it communicates better, so the clients even love it. So that's just about that. So for the sunlight now, let me just try and see how I can place the sun. So I'm trying to place it here and move it. So change it back to view. So I'm trying to see what I can do. And again, another thing is, people always want the that's funny, they always want their what's it called, sun targets to hit the building. You don't have to do that. It doesn't have to hit it. It can be like this, and yet you still have your illumination. So to start rendering, I'm going to just click render, and here we are. This is what we have. So I'm going to stop it. So select your camera, come to modify. So for my F number, which I don't think I need to explain too much again, because I believe you guys know all this. If you don't know it, there are some of the videos that I've made in the past about them. So 1 fraction of a second. And good news, they just released the new V-Ray today, and one of the advantages is they have brought the V-Ray camera back. So this physical camera is more advanced, so they have brought the V-Ray physical camera back, and I believe in some couple of days all of us will be using it. So duration, I'm going to use 120. I'm using Sony 16 rule, and if you don't know anything about Sony 16 rule, please Google it as well. Just search Sony as in SUNNY, and this one is 100. And if you use that now, you can see the way our image is. Very, very simple. So I'm seeing all these Revit materials. I don't want to see them for now, so I'm just going to come here. I will override the materials. Sorry, it's not color mapping, it's global switches. Click and click V-Ray MTL, then render. Good. What makes afternoon rendering to be interesting actually are shadows. You know, the way you play with the light and shadow. And to do that, I'm going to click on interactive rendering. And the problem is, if I'm here, it will render here. If I'm here, it will render here. So how to control that is to just come to this render frame window and click this padlock, but make sure that you are in the viewport that you want before you do that. You can see, come here, okay, you are here, and lock it. So anytime I'm here, it's still working with this. So now I'm going to try. So this is the way I work, trying to find a perfect orientation for my light. So now it won't make sense for me to do this, because this looks too blank, you know, like the light is washing the, and sometimes you just have to try and move the target without moving the real sun. And I think you can see different ways of testing. So trying to play with that shadow very, very well. So even raise it high. So anyway, I know what I want. I'm just trying to show you that this is what I want actually. You might be thinking, is telling us not to put not to create something like this, what is creating it as well. It doesn't have to be all about the sun sometimes. So now let me stop the, whenever I want to import something or maybe using my forest pack or something, I always stop the interactive rendering. So now that I have this, I need to find a way to make sure that all these area that are too bright are in some kind of shadow. So I'm going to use my forest pack. Come here. Before I use forest pack, I will need to create a boundary for my forest pack. So I'm going to use line, start, press shift for it to go straight, shift again, shift again, shift again, shift again, close. So I have that boundary. So what I'm going to do is come here, pick this, and now if you scroll down, you'll see fillet, and I think I know what it is, 2400. So you can see, I think that's what I have here as well. I'm going to adjust them. I don't know what I have there, but I think it's 1500. Good. So, but yet I can actually pick this, drag it a little bit in, so I don't think I have problem. I think I'm okay. So let's go. Isolate that line, spline rather. So come here and touch i2 software forest row. Select, let me just load this, and it's telling me that there's 5.1 and all those things I should update. Just close it and pick. And the reason why it's telling me is because I'm online. So if you are not online, it will not be telling you that. So I have this, and I'm going to load a tree. Type 3. Not this. I think it should be 50 something. Okay. Let me use this. Select all. Click OK. And here we are. I'm going to place it all around here. But you can see it's not affecting my, you can see this. And really, before I even do that, if you come here, you see attach list. I can't see any list. Attach then. Yeah, so that it should just be one object now, not two. It's like I'm blocking some cameras, and you can see now. So again, start to do okay, the interactive. Okay, I'm going to explain it back. Now you can see how the tree is casting shadows. So I just have to now find a way to make the shadow long by actually making this longer. I can see how the tree is casting shadow over there. The interactive rendering is so simple. It's just like you right click or you just click rendering and you stop it, so it will bring this revit. Sorry, I'm too used to revit. This very frame buffer, and you see interactive rendering, and when you click it, it begins the interactive rendering. So I'm going to try as much as possible and move this. If I move it out of the way, just trying to see where, and I can drag this one here. And also I can actually scale it, but the scaling now is, so I press T on my keyboard to get to the top, no sorry, F to get to the, and many times you always have this issue, that your gizmo is always at the center or somewhere. So the best way to solve that problem is to come to hierarchy, effect, pivot, and just drag the pivot down to where you want, because it always affects me when I want to scale. So I have that now, and anytime I scale now, you can see starting from there, and it's making sense. But yet I don't like what I'm saying. So what happens is I always load a lot of trees into my model, but I don't want to go through that, so that the system will not be slow. But you can see everything is working perfectly now because I set that. Another thing I can do actually is okay, let it be a little bit high. Why is because I don't want these leaves to occupy the whole space, so I think it's better this way. You can see, and don't forget that the leaves, they will not be like these planes when you finish rendering, so don't be too disturbed. Scene composition is very, very important, and that should be where you spend a lot of time. I don't have to show the whole tree before people know that there's a tree there. So I have that, and it's looking cool. It's looking cool. So again, let me use forest park for some trees. So I'm going to come to spline again and try to create, let's say, in the environment, but you have to be careful about this because of your computer memory. I'm using 32 gig, and can I use that? Select this one as well. Select this. So you have this. Fine, pick your. So when you want to use forest park, don't forget you have to stop the interactive rendering. So I'm coming back to this shadow that is giving me some problem on my wall, but for now let's just leave it and come to forest park. Let me see. Free models. See some trees. Let me use this. Double click on it and place it here. Yeah. So what the cancel? Okay. Undo. This is the forest park. Let me delete it and create again, because there's something I'm supposed to explain to you. When you pick like this, it's asking you this because you are going to be creating a lot of geometry, and forest park want to utilize your RAM, so it's asking for a limit to visibility. Where the camera is facing is the only area that you will see the forest park objects that you are creating. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, especially when you need those trees for reflection on the glass. So for now, I'm not going to enable it. It means that it's going to take a lot from my computer memory, but I'm okay. This is what I've created. If I click on it, I can come to this place, forest park. I'm using map pool and the scale. I'm going to set the scale to the global scale to like 1000. Then the areas, because it's a spline, I'm going to set it to like 500. The thickness here, and you can see I have that. I think that 500 is too much. Let me just put it on 200. You can see what it's giving me. And also I can come to distribution, maybe reduce it like, so I have that. But if you look at those trees from here, uniform height, everything seems to be the same. Now you can come to transform and enable rotation, so they can rotate. Enable scale, you can see that they begin to get much more different. Then there's translation as well. I always enable the 3. So another thing is I don't need too much of these trees. So if I click on them on the forest park, I can come to where's it now? Okay, collapse this. I don't want to drag it to 2 levels. I can just do like this and you get. So geometry, areas, I've worked in the area. So click tree editor. And what tree editor, now I think it should work well now before I start changing anything. So you are seeing it in preview. So you can see the way everything is now. Now this tree that I have here, I can now scale it down. Sorry. Can actually put it like this. Okay. I think that's nice. So again, on the, you can say I can't see my, when it's doing interactive render, I think it's now updating the 3D mark, the forest park in the viewport. So stop it so you can see. So come back here. So now the mode that we are on under 3 editor is generate. If I click custom edit, it will tell me this. I'll click yes, pick this, and you can pick each of these things one by one. You can delete the one you don't want. You can delete if you think it's too much, because forest park is actually, I can see how many we have here. I can see. The thing is, because forest park is taking it as forest, so it's giving some clustered objects that we might not need. So, and you can scale individually. You can see this one can be bigger. It gives you that freedom. You can actually block some things. You can see. I hope you are seeing it here. So the only thing is it's not doing interactive updates. Then your what was it called, is doing autosave. So now if we render again, so the next thing I'm going to do is, since I have this shadow, too much shadow on my building, I'm going to click the sun. Okay. Click the sun and change the size, the disk, size multiplier to like 4. What it will do is it makes the disk bigger, and there's a rule that applies to light. It's a natural principle of light. The larger the source of light, the softer the light will be, and the softer the shadow will be as well. So, and that is what is happening. And you can now see that those shadows, they are not as strong as they were before. I like to use that, even though it increases the render time, so be careful when you want to use it. So that's just all about forest park that I can tell you right now. So use that. And now let's go to floor generator. Floor generator, I use it to create a lot of things. And if you check this new image that I just created, I use floor generator to create these pavements. So I use forest park to create the gravel, and on another one, so this I used floor generator to create these interlocks, and that's what I'm going to be showing now. So I'm going to be showing you how I did that. And I didn't, for the background trees, I didn't use forest park. I actually scattered them. I got one pack of trees like that, just scattered them all around, and that's just all about that. So let me just quickly jump into it and show you how to create something like that. So I'm going to change the camera. Select the camera. I'm going to change the view to something like this. So you know what is happening. My camera is out of the compound. So I don't know which kind of photographer does that. So, but if they ask you, just say photographer Gabriel. So now I'm going to stop this. Click the normal render to quickly see the way it looks. I think it's awesome. So I'm going to right click on this, isolate, and quickly use my line. If you like, you can press S to use snap, but I don't like using snap, so I'll just have to press shift for a straight line, shift again. You can see there is because I have this Bezier corner, but it's not a problem. I'll see how I can handle that one later. Close. So again, like before, come here, come here, so here I'm going to use this and just try. You can see, so that's how to deal with issues like that. For this fillet 2.4, remember So 2.4. One point five. Coming back to that. Okay, this. Okay, I think that's okay. And on this is what I'm going to be building the flow generator. So how are we going to do that? So you come to modify, then flow generator. Now this is where the problem is. The total area that I have here is too big for the settings that we have here. I'm supposed to have. What I'm doing now, let me just save. Why? Is because if I don't, the system will hang. And I'll now show you how to actually treat that before you create your flow generator. I'll just be careful about it. This is the one that will crash. You see, it's crashed. So, and that's one of the reasons why many people don't like to use flow generator, but it's not a problem. It's something that can be easily dealt with. So I'm going to be showing you what you're supposed to have done before you start using flow generator on the large surface area. So the first thing you should always do when that kind of thing happens is save your file before you start clicking on those cancel and OK, so that you will not lose everything that you've been working on. And always remember to save every time. You can see this thing is still here. So, but those ones are simple. So now, these are the floorboard. Sorry, that's the. And if I come here, you see flow generator. Just delete it. So, if you want to start using flow generator, the first thing you should do is, especially on a large surface, is to just create a small rectangle like this. This one is even too big. Just make it like 3 meters by 3 meters. So I'm coming. Okay. So please, so if you have questions, let me know. So when you have that, you just now need to apply flow generator to it. You can see that it's not giving me any And now you can now come here, maximum number of boards. This is actually what created that problem. Is 10,000, and I have this big area, so that means I will use more than 10,000 boards. So if I'll change it, I'll change to like 1 million or even 10 million or 100,000, but this 1 million anyway. So I'm okay with that. Then I'm going to delete this. I don't need it. I just use it to set that option there. So if I pick this line now and I apply my flood generator, so because it's a large area, it will still take a while to load, but it should not give me that error message again. You can see that it's not giving me the error message. And this is what we have. This is what we have. So what I'm going to do is, I have these options here. The first one is the length. I'm going to change the length to like, it depends, maybe 300 mm, and the width, so it will calculate. You can see it's calculating. So now here, what is taken to calculate is actually your computer memory. So, and it's not even taking much of your memory anyway, 20%. So don't forget your 3D Max set affinity and reduce those. So it's very, very important. So just wait for it. It's not going to give any problem now, but it should calculate. So, oh, I think, okay, it's not that. The video really lags. The way I'm watching it now, seems like the time it's is lagging seriously on it, but it's not a problem. Don't forget to come to this guy. He knows Revit very well, Background Architects, and you can subscribe on his channel and get a lot of, you can see how to use Revit to create this kind of model. So he explained everything, simple mechanical in Revit. In case you want to do that, you can see using Revit to create something like this. And really, it's really interesting what some of the things you can learn. So let's see if this one is done. It's done, but you can see now, and yet I want to set this one at maybe 200. So it will take time as well. So again, allow it to do whatever I want to do. So while that one is going, I can go on Behance. Behance is a good place where you can find inspirations and ideas. So okay, you have this, and all this doesn't make sense yet, so I'm going to sign in. And if you are the one, you will just need to sign up. But now I just need to sign in, and it seems like because of the recording and all those things, it's trying to misbehave. So I believe our 3D Max should be back now. It's not back yet. It's taking its time. Okay, Behance is almost on. So in some minutes now, I believe we should wrap everything up in some minutes, and you can see a lot of projects on my own Behance page, and they are fantastic projects that one can actually. Now the problem is you follow some people that this is not me, is some people that I'm following that are actually showing all those things. They are following some other people that make this kind of images, and they like it. So anything they like, we always show on my own dashboard. So if you don't want to be seeing things like that, you will need to come to your own profile here and click on settings. This is my profile. These are the work that I've uploaded. But I'm going to come into settings. So you can see, okay, this one is done. Now, if I come to top, I think it's making sense. It's looking like an interlock. All I need to do now is to come here. I can make it, I can change it, make this one, it will still take time, 300, and this one's supposed to be 200, so that it will be like this. So I think it's faster. 200. I think it will calculate it faster now. You can always set the offset to like let's say 50, so that they will alternate from the center. And some of the things that you will need to set now are the grout length. You can see now the grout. Where is the grout length? So is the gap in between the two objects now is on 0.2. Let me put it on 5, and you see the difference here. It's coming. The difference will be there. You can see now. That's the grout length. You can see that. And normally we don't have any problem because we have a base, a floor that I brought from Revit actually as the base, and that's the way it actually works in real life. Then I pick this as well. You see extrude now is 1 millimeter thick, so I'm going to change it to like 20 millimeters. So okay, sign in. So to set your profile from, I don't want to be seeing that thing every time. So that's, for the Behance, because it's better sometimes if you don't want to give yourself some problem. You can see how thick this one is. So I'm juggling many things all around. I hope you are just following. So now the bevel here, I need to change it. So you see bevel, where is bevel? Okay, this is bevel. So let's change it to like 5. And you see the way to bevel around here. because the boards are very, very much. That's why it's taking time. You can see the bevel now is now like that. If I press F3, you can see it well. I can see the way it's looking. You can continue to play with the length and the width that you want to, but I think I'm okay with this. The next thing you are going to do to give it this kind of scintillating effect is to come and say maximum tilt. You want it to tilt, so maximum tilt is what we tilt up, minimum is what we tilt down. I don't always change the minimum anyway, so for the maximum, let me just give it 5 or even a. So let the 5, let's wait for the 5 and see the way it looks. So now when you are on your profile on the Behance, you can just click this block mature content, so it will automatically save it, and now it has saved. So when I come to activities again, I shouldn't see all those kind of images again, all those kind of pictures again. And now see, I'm following a lot of people, photographers and all those things, because product designers, and you can see now scrolling down, I'm not seeing all those kind of images again. So now if you can always be inspired with a lot of projects that you'll see here. You can see this interior now. I think I'm seeing this. I like interiors with natural lighting anyway. I can see this thing is tilting up, and these ones are tilting up. The most interesting thing about floor generator is it works intuitively. Like if you just give it some random selection and make it look so organic. So I'm going to make it like 15, so that it will actually, I can see some nice interiors here, and they can actually be 3Ds as well. When I like it now, if you are following me, if I like this image now, it will show on your profile that there's one new image that somebody liked, and that is what causes all those provocative images that we saw the other time, because some other people liked it. But if you go to your settings and block it, it's okay. So this is another one. You can see digital photography and interior design. So it looks so cool. You can get a lot of ideas and inspiration from here. You can see the way it looks, so nice and cool. So you can right click and save if you want to save, but I'm just showing you, and you can follow the person that did this. You can click on follow, so anytime he posts his work, you always see it. The reason why I saw it when I saw this was because somebody liked it, but now anytime this guy posts, I'm going to be seeing it, and you will see comments, and you can also comment as well. So got it. They will, because if they report you, they can block you from that place. So Let's go back to the 3D Max, and you can see now how this looks. And it looks too much when you zoom to it, but when you zoom out, it seems to be okay, and from here it's okay. So that's how to create that. So let's quickly put some materials on it. If I want to put material, I just pick this, change the material to vary material. So now here I use multi-texture, which is actually another plugin as well, another script as well, that was written by the same people that wrote flood generator. So what it does is you can put different type of textures, and it will randomize them on each of these objects. So, and how does that work? Manage texture, then add bitmaps. So I'm going to pictures and my textures. So I have these that I've created in Photoshop. So you can see these textures, I've created them in Photoshop, different ones. So I select all those ones and I load them here, and now I can just choose to see them in the viewports. Apply it to the flow generator, and this is the texture. Now it's not showing all the colors, don't worry, it will show them when you are rendering. And now let's end isolate, and with that we can just come to render setting, and under the global switches uncheck the override, and now change all the other materials. I have this now, you can see I'm having two of that material. You know, the material I applied, I painted on this wall in Revit is this, then the default material that was on it before is this. So I can just quickly change it. I'm not going to be creating materials up and down, so I have my own materials that I've created. I'm just going to load, open material library, and you see Craftwide Studios material libraries, and I have this. Let me just find one material and just drop it. Also, I've taught all this before, how to create material libraries. If you don't know it, you can always Google all those ones anyway, and you know, YouTube will quickly give you some quite important ones. You can see now it changed those objects that have the name of the material on them. Then go back, come to this. I don't think I have what I want to use for it anyway, but I'm just going to quickly use anyone. Let me use this card old material. So I have that, you can see. I'm not going to touch the doors, and just let's render. So now this is it. You can see the material that comes from Revit for the glass is not making sense at all. So I'll click on that one as well for the window. I've created a material that I always use for my window. This is what makes my work to be faster. When it comes to material application, I just pick, and I should have something like window. Oh, sorry, I don't think I have it, but I have glass and I have window glass somewhere. You can see window glass. So now the problem is it's not the one that I'm supposed to apply it to. See frame, see glass. So it's supposed to be for this glass. Window glass, you can see. Then come here. For the frame, I can choose this aluminum. So that's that. For the floors, so what I can do is to quickly select the floor, right click, isolate. So now I have that. Oh, so the floor is carrying the same material as, what's it called, floor generator. What I would do is end isolate, select similar, and isolate them. So I have this. So you can see they're having the same material as floor generator. So apply new material to them. Select similar. Apply. And now just let's make it, I don't want to go too much on it. So white like that. And end isolate. For the door, pick the door. If you can't, just, if you can't pick the door from there, just come here. It seems like my 3D Max has started misbehaving. Okay, it has not. Okay, this is the door, isolate. You can see. So I have this material here that I call door, but I'm going to put it here to see the way it is structured. So you can see it has undo as first, frame as second, glazing as third, and frame as. So now if I check the one that comes with Revit, from Revit rather, I think it's the same structure. So I can pick this and just apply it to it. So it will give me the same structure, undo, frame, glass. So it's giving me everything. But many times you might have something different. So let me undo. If you have something different, if the structure of this frame, of this door, like, is not like this, because what it will do is it will look at this number 1 2 3 4. So what I will do is, if it doesn't have it like that, I will just click on the undo, click here. I'll collapse all this anyway, or just come for the handle. I'll just pick undo. You can see it changed. And for the frame, I'll pick frame. You can see I'll come here and pick the one that I know I have glazing, and the last one I'll click and pick it. You can see. And this, if I apply UV, you can see how the textures come here, and I apply box, and I can start tweaking the UV, but I think it's okay. And that's just it. It's as simple as that. I'm not dealing with some complex stuff, because if you notice, my voice is actually breaking. So now let's render. So whenever I'm rendering, I always come back to things like this and continue to find inspiration so that I will not be wasting time. I think I like this. And the rendering is going on and everything is working smoothly. Why? Because I've set this affinity so there is nothing like my system is hanging while I'm trying to surf the internet or something. So this image that I'm trying to load seems to be heavy, or my internet is not. I think it's the image. So it will load. And you can see this. You can see now that I can see this highlight, and it means that the what's it called? The material on this is too reflective and highly glossy. So I mean, and you can see the shadows. They're very, very soft, and you can see my flood generator. My flood generator, the way it's spread this all around because of multi-texture. There's another way you can do it anyway, but I think I've made a video about that before. So I believe these little tips. Oh, last one, which is actually the curb. So I'm just going to quickly go through it. So I spent a lot of time on my work. So this is not just, this is just for you to have overview of the way I work. So for the materials, I'm going to show you how I create out of curb now. So where is the curb? For this, I can hide them for now. Hide the selection. I'll come back to it later. For the curb, isolate and just pick this, apply, and I'm going to be using composite map. You can see composite. Now it's because I know what I want to do anyway before I start. So for the texture, I'm going to come to bitmap and under images. So if I go to my polygon textures, so anyway, on grand, no, should it be grand or grunge? On grunge. So I want to use this, and you can preview it. You can see this is what I want to use, and pick it. So and now the tiling, I always like to use UV box and give it like 1000, 1000, 1000. So when you have this, you have all these things that are coming this way. Just don't mind those ones. Click here, pick your gizmo, and you can move it. You can see. So I think I need 500 as well. So I'm coming. Oh, offline. I'm online again now. Okay, I think it's his network. So you can see the way it goes. But really, it doesn't have to be like this anyway. There's another way you can do it. 500 for here. And you can always move it to give you that subtle effect. But there's another way, and that's the one I'm going to show you now. You can have another object, another what's it called? Just give me some minutes. So you can come here, or even before I come here, find the concrete, because it doesn't have to be only on your curb that you will use this. So concrete, let me see my arrowway, my file location. So I have a lot of concrete maps. Just use, and because these files are heavy, they're very heavy, and you can see some of them as well that they have all this. So what I'll do is I'll use a concrete like this. So let's use this concrete, and I'll put it here. So now that's the concrete, so that all these areas, even though I'm still having that, but they're not much. So now I'll now place, this composite map work like layers in Photoshop. Let me just open the Photoshop. So you can add another layer by clicking this. So let's say I open this. Okay, I only have only one person watching. I understand that the internet might be giving you guys problem. Even me here is giving me some challenges, but I'll stop everything soon. Wow, this is nice. I'm coming back to this. It's really giving me some good looking images. And I'm going to get back to it. So you can always, appreciate, follow people that gives. These are good. Oh, okay. Let's go back to this. So I set another one, and for this now I'm now going to use my this grunge. Let me use this one, and this a mask for it. I'm going to be making a video later, then just upload it on Google Drive on how to create a mask. You have something like this and you want to create the alpha. So but for now, I'm just going to be using this, and when you have that, you just put a mask on it. So what the mask will do is the black part will remove the upper part. This upper area will be removed and it will remain this lower area. So when you do that, so I'm going to put it on multiply. Let me just show both of them, and you can see the way it's looking. So, and come here, trying to see. Let me just put it on normal, and you can see what is happening. So it's trying to show me all this. You can actually scale it, or you can come to the top, and from the top now you can move. It still doesn't. You can actually try to rotate it until you will not have that. You can scale from the top. It's just because it's big, but it's not a problem anyway. And the scaling is even affecting this. So just undo, don't worry about that. We can use Photoshop to remove all this, but yet you can see, you can pick your gizmo, move it up. You can see, you can move it up and down. You can actually rotate it. You can move it up and down. You can rotate it. So in case you want it to be, so if you see that you are not being perfect about it, you can just right click and change this one to 0 or 0 again. It will be changing. You can now, and you can see that's just the way it works. So now one of the problems that are here is because this geometry is from Revit, so it's not giving me perfect faces, but yet you can see the way this thing looks, and you can change the opacity. So let's go on average. Let's see the way it will work. Now this average, this is just blending mode, how they blend together, and you can see this one blends, this one comes out well, then this one blends a little bit on the average, then addition is just like you are adding it small effect. So you can use it on your walls, to create something dirty. You create maybe a glass. Now you want to add some stain to the glass, you can use this. And if I come to this image back, there's this other one. That's the method I used to create. You can see how this object, a still object is, you can see. So that's what I used to create something like that. So you can always check, this darken, this is multiply, this is color bond. So you can always see the way they blend all together. You can see. So you can use whichever mode you want. And let me go back to the mode I am, which is normal. You can change the opacity to like 50 for now. So what it will do is it will reduce its effect so that it will not be too much. You can play with that, and yet to give you a nice result. And I can see it. So I believe I've tried enough to answer most of your questions. And let me put this one on local, and actually this thing is not giving me what I want. So, and it's because this surface, this area is curved. If not, by the time I move that, it's supposed to move all these things around. But that's just all about it. I believe you've learned something new. You know, it's not, this one is not all about doing something too great. And if you think you want to do a final rendering, I would recommend this, because this render setting, because I don't know which kind of computer you are using, and I don't want to give you something that is too elaborate, you know, too high, and will cause problem. So for the V-Ray, I will just use 8 here, then 0.005 for the noise threshold. My color mapping, I always use exponential, and for the GI, I use medium. Medium is okay. And for the light catch, I use about 2000. Then settings here, I always go like, I'm using 32 gig RAM, so 24 gig is okay for me here. So then I use Embry. I don't conserve memory because I have enough memory. If you don't have, you don't even need to use this, because you can always come here and set affinity, which is much more better. If you enable this, what will happen is you will be able to work on your system while your computer is rendering. But the downside of it is it will be slow to render, and you can use render element, which I don't want to talk about now, and you can press render. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to be signing off now. Very soon there will be another live stream. I hope I'll do better for that. I will not explain a lot. I will have done a model, and I might not even be talking much on it. I will just be working, and if you have a question, then I will now talk to answer the question. Then I will return back to working, so that you will see my own workflow. You know, that one will not take a lot of time, unlike this that I'm trying to explain a lot of things together. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate for you for staying up late to view the stream.